Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of LFGM podcast. Let's fucking go Mets. Maddie, the New York Mets, the AAA New York Mets, just swept the doubleheader here. We had the seven inning doubleheaders against the Colorado Rockies, and they won the game before that. So the AAA New York Mets are on a 3-game win streak here as they welcome the Atlanta Braves coming into town tomorrow. Matt, how you doing, bud?
Doing good. I mean, it's not necessarily like the most exciting brand of baseball to watch over the last week and a half, but it's just kind of like funny to watch, I guess. It's just like,
it's definitely not exciting. Exciting is not the word that
no,
I describe it. But I will say they've been respectable. Like they're never gonna blow anybody out, but they're hanging around in games and they're keeping it close.
they put the ball in play. They've been playing a little bit more small ball with steals and everything. And
thank
they
God.
got a few guys that are really consistent. VR being one of them.
Yeah, VR's been great over there at third base. I'm going to give you some stats. Are you ready? I'm going to start off with some stats today. So they're 4-2 this week, right? So they went 3-1 against the Rockies. They went 1-2 against the Marlins. They're 14-5 at Citi Field this year. As I mentioned, they're on that 3-game winning streak as they welcome the Braves to town. They're 24-20, and they're 2.5 games up on both the Phillies and the Braves. Not bad for a team that's got half the frickin' roster on the IL.
No, we're doing very well given the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice too. It's about time the Mets got a little bit of a lucky break in the fact that the rest of the NL East kind of stinks.
Yeah.
And then we're playing some teams that kind of stink.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last time too. Like we got lucky a little bit with the schedule. We got the 3-game set with the Marlins, and then you get the Rockies at home. It's different than playing the Rockies when they're at home.
Yeah, but it's that's also, hey, they're taking advantage of that, which in like years past you could probably say that they haven't.
Yeah.
So, hats off to them. It's just a weird brand of baseball that we watch every night.
It's definitely weird. Just real quick with the Braves, I don't know if you saw this. Ozuna is going to be out for 6 weeks, so we get the Braves hobbling into town too, which is not a bad thing. So let's try to take 2 out of 3 there, or maybe even get a sweep. Depends on the starting pitching, but I mean, these guys, if you can keep scratching out runs and the starting pitching and the bullpen's going to keep doing what they're doing, this team's going to win some games.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the pen management was great too. Today for the doubleheader, it always helps when your game 1 starter goes 6.
Yep.
And honestly, probably could have gone 7 realistically. But
yes, you want to start there? I thought I'm always in favor of keeping your closer for game 2, especially if you can ride a starter 7 innings. I'm not mad about it. There's no wrong move there. But I would have loved to save Diaz for the second game. Doesn't matter. Either way, it worked out. I'm sure Stroman would have liked to have the opportunity to go for a complete game, but they win the first game 1-0. Peraza hits the solo shot, and that's literally the only highlight of the game. And Stroman was good. 6 innings, no runs, 3 hits. He was efficient. He was good. He had 90 pitches through 6 innings.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like that's not the first time that they've done that with Stroman too. And he's like,
The last time was actually, the doubleheader in Colorado too.
Yeah, and like he's our 2 guy, so at some point it would be nice to like see him like go the distance a little bit and like because we know we're gonna need the pen for all of these other pitchers. So
yeah, I think
besides him and Jake, really.
Right. Well, especially when Lucchese's starting, you're going to need to. He's got a quick pull, right?
Yeah.
And I thought the 2 starts that we saw from Lucchese this week were really promising. He went through the Marlins pretty efficiently, and they pulled him out of that game early. And then today was better. I think we kind of mentioned something that, hey, maybe he might be tipping his pitches. And then I saw a tweet where someone, did some analytical stuff, and he's definitely tipping his pitches. His release point for his fastball and his curve, or the churve, whatever you want to call it, are completely different. So hitters can, pick up on that pretty quickly. So it sounds like that they've noticed that, they're working on it. His last two starts, I think he's gone like 7 innings, and it's been 1 earned run. So, take that for a grain of salt, and he's heating up a little bit. And the bullpen was great here in the second game. I mean, you cannot be mad about giving up 1 run over the course of 14 innings today.
No, and it's nice, like, going into a weekend and the bullpen, having to use them. But obviously, last night being a rain out helped. But we were fresh still going into the weekend, which is always good. Now, Ron mentioned this too on the broadcast, and I was kind of like thinking this too a little bit. Is game 2 was another save situation, and I mean, I guess we're not there yet in maybe back-to-back on the same day.
Mhm.
But Ron put it out there. It was like, I don't see why you can't do it,
Yeah, I had because I was driving back from work, and they were talking a little bit about how it was Howie and Wayne on 880, and how yes, Rojas was asked this question earlier on in the year. If he throws 10, 12, 14 pitches in the first, leg of a doubleheader, would you use him in the second half of the doubleheader? And he laughed it off and had, he was like, not a chance, no way. Which I think is a little silly, but I get the idea that you don't want a guy like having to go through his whole routine 2 separate times. But
I get it.
On paper, it makes sense. Like, hey, he only threw 12 pitches. When you look a little bit deeper, do you really want this guy going through the warm-up routine twice? And if you can get through it without using him and you save him for Atlanta when you know you're going to need him, I think they did the right thing. I think maybe a little later on in the year, it's more realistic. I was a little shocked that we didn't see Trevor May here at the end of the second game. They rode Familia, and then they went with Gazelman in the 7th.
Which I like too. It's like, dude, you gotta recognize that Gazelman's been good, and he's been reliable, and he's put up some serious numbers. And May did run into a wall a little bit last week, and
definitely.
Sometimes one day doesn't do it for a reliever, and I think now, like, you're definitely going to see him tomorrow. And with the Diaz thing, like, I definitely see why he didn't do it, because he gets hurt or something happens.
Yeah,
he gets put on the DL. They will crush him for that. And it's like, even us would be like, oh man, we shouldn't have done that. Like, what were we all thinking?
Right. And with everybody on the IL already, it's like, it's not even worth it. Like,
but the only thing that makes it tempting, I will say, is the 2 sevens, because it's so quick. And it's like, even they started game 2, such a quick turnaround.
245.
Which I like. It's like, no need to wait around. But like in years past with doubleheaders, no one's ever really used closer back to back, because you got 2 9s, and you're talking like you could have a separation of like 6-7 hours between like throwing again. So that's where it gets a little tricky. I think that's the only thing that tempted me a little bit. It's like 2 sevens, and it's like, it feels like he just pitched like 2 hours ago, and that's it.
Yeah. It's tempting, definitely. I would have, like I said, I would have liked to see Stroman go 7, but whatever. 2 wins today. It's a good feeling. I'm going to give you some numbers on Edwin in save opportunities this year. So just in save opportunities. He's 9 for 9 in save opportunities with 9 2/3 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 2 walks allowed, and 14 strikeouts. Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he's putting up, honestly, could be an all-star rep for us. He's putting up that good of numbers, and like I was the biggest anti-trust Edwin Diaz, and now I trust him. I do. I trust him.
You get there.
I trust him.
It's got to be.
But I trust everyone in this pen too.
Even, I would say, my biggest question mark would have been Familia going into the year, and he has been awesome.
Dude, he's been put in some awful situations too. That's the thing. It's like lose-lose situations, and like, granted, he might give up the run from third base.
Inherited runner,
when it's like bases loaded, 0 outs, here, come in the game and clean this up. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. No, I would say Loop has done really good with inherited runners too. The bullpen's been great. I think a lot of people haven't really mentioned this yet, but you have to give kudos to Jeremy Hefner. I mean, what he's been able to do with he's got two of his five start. Well, I mean, if you really want to think about it, he had four of his five starting pitchers on the IL at the same time between Jake, Taiwan, Noah, Carrasco. That's four of the potential five, right?
Yeah.
And what he's been able to do, even Rojas has been able to manage the bullpen and navigate through certain situations. I think they've done a really nice job with what they've been given to work with. The starting pitching to me, even through this last stretch, has been it was a little rocky here, but we've seen Stroh calm down a little bit. We're supposed to get Taijuan Walker back against the Braves. Jake came back and looked really good. Lucchesi, like we talked about a little bit earlier, it seems like he's starting to find that release point a little bit, and he's heating up. It sucks that we get the news about Syndergaard the other day, how he's going to be shut down for 6 weeks. But, I mean, and Yamamoto was transferred. This was a very quiet move. But Jordan Yamamoto was transferred from the 10-day IL to the 60-day IL. These are the starting pitchers moving forward. Help ain't coming until after the All-Star break. So it's been really refreshing. It's been really nice to see guys step up to the plate and perform at a high level.
Yeah, and we are going to get some help somewhat soon with Walker coming back, and then I think Alonso is going to come back this weekend too, which that helps every team when. Even with pitchers, it helps them all right, a little bit less pressure when you got a few more bats in the lineup. But yeah, this is, the Noah news is tough. That's maybe he'll get, out there in September or something, and, could be a nice little call up for us as we make that playoff run, right? Maybe. But you start to have to not necessarily lose hope, but you start to just temper expectations a little bit more when it's you realize what the injury is, and all right, it's like a tender, touchy subject kind of thing. He can come back, but he could just also throw in St. Lucie for a month and a half and then just be we'll start again next year.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is he's going to be a free agent. He's 29 years old. He hasn't pitched in 2 years. There's potential that he's pitched his last game in a Met uniform, which to me is unreal. It's hard for me to.
I don't know, man. I meant to bring this up to you. What do you think are the chances of that?
I don't know.
Now with the new news, do you think it helps or hurts his chances of staying a Met?
I think. Tucker, get over here. I would say it probably helps us. Just give him a 1-year deal, throw a bit of money at him, and you want to see what you got with him, right? You can't sign. No one's signing him to a long-term deal at this point.
I mean, he would accept the qualifying offer, right?
Yes, I would imagine. Yeah.
Right. I would imagine he's up for it. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what are the the requirements for that, but I'm pretty sure he would be up for the qualifying offer because he's never been up for it before,
right? And that's around. Well, I mean, it's around 19 million. We'll see.
Why wouldn't you accept that?
I think that'd be good on both ends, right? The Mets cover their ass. If he signs somewhere else, you get a compensation pick, and it's good for Noah Syndergaard because he's going to make $20 million, $19 million. That's a lot of money. I don't think he's going to necessarily, get a 1-year deal worth that much money in the open market. He might find something a little bit more long-term where it's 3 years, $30 million. But I don't know. That'd be interesting to see if he goes. If someone's going to offer him 3 and 30, or we offer him 1 and 19. What do you do?
So that's for me. That's why I think when with him with this new news, I think he's more probably willing to accept that qualifying offer, and we would be stupid not to offer him that. Let's be real, just based on past success. If he duplicates any of his past success, he's well worth 1 year 18.9 or 19, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's why I do think that we see him back again next year. It's just that's also why it's like I don't know if he's gonna play that game of trying to come back necessarily this year.
Right.
Throw 7 innings or so?
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends, though. Like, imagine if he's just like
this is what happened.
Guys in the pen, too, in October.
This is what happened with Zach Wheeler. He didn't, he was out for so long with Tommy John. It took him, almost 1 year and 3/4 just because of the timing of it. And again, here we're talking about Noah. I mean, the timing of it is just, do you want to rush him back in August? I don't know. But I guess we'll wait and see where he's at. I want to talk about some of these guys in the lineup here real quick that have been, contributing and/or, a little bit of we'll see. Well, you'll see what I'm talking about when I bring it up. Jose Peraza has been great, man. Yeah. He had the solo shot today. He had another RBI in the second game. He's solid defensively at second base. I think he's someone that you got to keep on the major league roster when other guys are coming back. He's earned his spot for sure.
Yeah, and I think so too. And I think the guys that are, JD's probably not coming back anytime soon. Guillorme doesn't seem like he's coming back anytime soon. So we are going to have Peraza up there for a while, which I am completely fine with, honestly. Mm-hmm. Like, I really am. And, it's not as much of a glaring weakness when guys like him contribute a little bit.
Yeah, kudos to Sandy and Zach Scott for bringing in some veteran depth to this team. We've talked a little bit about that in the past, but if Peraza's not here, who the hell is going to play second base for you right now?
Dude, I know. McNeil. Yeah, McNeil's not coming back anytime soon.
No, so McNeil and Conforto, I think it's going to be like mid to late June is the expectation. So we're looking at another 3 weeks there. JD Davis just got shut down, so he's going to get reevaluated. He's still got a wrist issue. That doesn't seem like a major, like a long-term thing. I would expect him to be back before Conforto and McNeil. Nimmo, I haven't heard anything about. He's still got the neck issue.
He should be. I heard that he was on the way soon. He's earlier than those other guys. So I think right now it's just like I don't even know if he needs rehab, like a rehab start or something. I'm sure he will, but it's one of those things where he can't do anything, and he's just got to let the swelling go down, and that is it.
And he's had neck issues in the past, so hopefully this is nothing that comes back up again. That's my only fear with him. And then we got 2 more guys added to the 10-day DL. Tommy Hunter was added to the 10-day DL. God only knows how Tommy Hunter hurt himself. He probably was doing some mulching outside. I have no idea. And then
I'll get in that single.
Janeshwi Fargas was added to the 10-day DL after he made some contact with the wall there. They're saying that was an AC joint. Not a full separation, but some sort of sprain or discomfort there. And then we lost 2 guys who were designated for assignment this past week because of all the millions of roster moves that we've had to make. Jake Hager was selected to the Milwaukee Brewers, and Daniel Zamora, who is a young lefty in the bullpen, he was on our 40-man. He was designated for assignment. He was claimed by the Seattle Mariners. So we lose those 2 guys off of the 40-man, and we add Cameron Maben, who is 0 and we add Billy McKinney.
0 for what?
0 for a lot.
0 for 26.
Holy, it's insane. And then Billy McKinney, who we made a trade with the Milwaukee Brewers there, and we got to see him in his first action today. He made a few great catches out there in the outfield today.
I didn't know him before this.
No, I did not know him either. But he
never heard of him.
From what I can see, he's a pretty confident corner outfielder there.
His name, Billy McKinney, is like a name of a baseball player in a movie, like Major League or something, like Angels in the Outfield. Billy McKinney up the bat.
I was like, in my head, in the back of my head, I'm like, it's about time the Mets had a Billy. Like, who's the last Billy for the Mets? Billy Wagner. Okay, we're a good Billy team, right? We can take a Billy. But yeah, he looked good. We'll see what we can get out of him offensively. I think we're hours, if not minutes, away from Cameron Maybin being DFA'd. I don't see this one lasting much longer.
Well, we don't have anyone else.
Well, they do. They have a kid, Mason Williams, who's had some major league experience before. He's batting like 340 in AAA right now. So
and center.
He's not on the 40 man. So you'd have to DFA Cameron Maybin, remove him from the 40 man. I don't know if anybody's taking Cameron Maybin in the slump he's in. And then you'd have to add Mason Williams. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. Do they want to add him to the 40 man? Is it someone who they're comfortable doing that with, and then potentially having to remove him later on in the season, or sending him back down? I don't know. It sounds like they're on the verge of making that move, from what I can tell.
So I don't know. I see it either way, because like Mason Williams is not like some like crazy young prospect. Like he's been around the block a little bit too. Like he's but yeah, at this point it's like, well, yeah, you might as well try it. But you gotta kind of be careful with that, because if someone I don't think anyone would claim Maybin, but if you DFA'd him and then you bring this guy up and this guy just can't hit water out of a bucket for a week and we still don't have any of our guys back.
Right.
Maybin's run into some bad luck too, especially with his last at-bat.
Yeah.
It just happened to just like go right to the shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, we definitely we need help in the outfield is what it is. What's crazy is like, dude, I'm dying for Albert Almora to come back. I never thought I'd be saying that. He's not even close, and he crashed 12 months ago.
How many center fielders have we had just run face first into the wall?
We've had 3.
Yeah.
You've had him, Pilar, and Fargas.
Yep. Speaking of outfield help, right? The outfield, it's been brutal, right? And I think, I had a few friends who are like, you got to play Dom Smith at first base. I'm like, guys, you cannot play Dom Smith at first base right now. Well, he's your best defensive first baseman. I said, I don't care. You need a competent bat in the outfield. You can't have 3 no-names across the board. You cannot have an outfield of Khalil Lee, Cameron Maybin, and Billy McKinney. I'm sorry. You have to be able to –
It's a wild major league outfield.
I can't believe we're even talking about this. By the way, Tim Tebow, I know we talked about this last week, and it was our big – Tim Tebow would have been called up.
He would have been called up.
I 100% believe that. He would have been.
I can't believe – and no one's really saying that.
No, I know. I feel like we're the only people who have even mentioned it. But he absolutely 100% would have been called up by this time.
Yeah. He would have got a call.
For Cameron Maybin, you're calling up Tim Tebow.
Yeah. You cannot move. Listen, Rojas wants Dominic Smith at first just as much as everyone else, but you can't do it right now, man. Just can't. He probably took Dom aside and was like, you're taking one for the team right now. Like, I know this would be your time to play first with Pete down, but it just can't happen. It just can't. And you know what?
He's nursing the knee thing too, because when Nido hit that home run the other night, he had that awkward slide into home. I think he tweaked the knee a little bit. I mean, he should be fine long term, but he's playing through it. He's got to play. He's got to play in the outfield. He has to play in the outfield.
Yeah. And guess what? He's been pretty good there.
He's been great in the outfield. He's not going to make any spectacular plays, but he's fine. He's sufficient. Has he made any awkward, horrible plays this year? No. But let's talk about the catcher position. Nido has been unbelievable. Tomas is, on fire. I think they said this last week he's batting like 315 or something like that with 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. And then it allows James McCann or Patrick Mazeika, which we just saw this last game, which I didn't know about. Mazeika is a pretty refined first baseman. He would not call himself a full-time catcher. He's more of a 50-50 guy from what I was hearing from Howie. And then McCann, who played first base in college, he hasn't played since, but he was awesome over there. you're not going to get any Gold Glove caliber plays over there, but it at least gets you some bats in the lineup.
Yeah, I think honestly Rojas has done a great job with the lineup recently with that too, specifically. Like, that's not easy to do, and he's pushed it where it's like using all three catchers. If something happens, then it is what it is, and it's like, dude, that's I've always said, like, I have no idea. Managers all throughout the big leagues have proven crazy by just like they just leave their backup catcher on the bench in a key pitch hitting situation where it's like, dude, you can win a game right now.
Mm-hmm.
But
so, I think the reason that the Mets have started this, and I think you're going to see this as more of a trend throughout baseball, is because of the runner on second base rule in extra innings. Games are not going 17, 18 innings. When was the last time you saw a game go more than like 13 or 14 innings?
Yeah, that's a good point. But we went like 13 last week, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So the game, so a guy goes, can catch for 13 innings, but the game's not going longer than that. There's no reason to leave your roster spot, empty.
Good point. Yeah.
Not using them. So I think it's brilliant by the Mets to realize this, to recognize that extra inning games are not what they used to be. They're most likely over in the first 2 or 3 innings. Let's use our pinch hitters. Let's put him in good, positions where Mazika's a lefty. Let's get him up against a right-handed hitter, or right-handed pitcher. Nido's a righty, and Nido's been ripping the ball. Let's try to get him up and get him in a good fastball position. And you've seen guys gain confidence, put great swings on the ball. The catcher position, for as awful as James McCann has been and how many ground ball double plays he's hit into, the catcher position is still a plus for the Mets this year, because those two have been awesome defensively too. And they both had their little quirks here and there, but I think overall you have to look at his catcher as one of the bigger upgrades that this team has had all season.
Yeah, people don't realize too, it's like you got to be okay with James McCann hitting 240. It's all good. Like, yeah, he had a couple pretty good years, but also he was getting spelled a lot too, where he was able to rest more.
Mm-hmm.
And the combination of these two with Nido's offense and his arm and his great defense, along with McCann's great defense, it's a plus position for us. And absolutely. A lot of people don't realize that. It's very weird.
No, people are only looking at, his batting average and whatnot, but there's more to it, especially the catcher position. You're involved on every play. I think McCann calls a great game back there. Tomas is one of the best framers in the league. He is unbelievable back there at framing a pitch. And I don't necessarily buy framing as a catcher, but when you're really fucking good at it, like Tomas Nido is, then I accept it and I buy framing. Right? Someone who is just an average framer is not getting any calls. That's not how it works.
Because
someone who is above and beyond and really fucking good at it, and that's Tomas Nido.
He might be there's so many catchers that are good at framing. That's why, right? So it's like that. No one. You only really stand out when you're one of the best at it.
Yep, and there's lazy catching too, where you drag your glove across the zone, and then there's really smart and effective catching where you're bringing your glove back into the zone. And I think both of them have done an amazing job just at that. I mean, I've watched JT Realmuto, and everyone talks about how good of a catcher he is, but if there's a ball that's outside, he brings his glove outside with the ball, so you're bringing your glove away with the ball, and then it looks like it's even further outside of the strike zone. He does a lot with curveballs that are down. Instead of trying to start down and work your way up, he goes down with the pitch. So that's just another thing to keep in mind with these catchers. And we wanted to talk a lot about, what Steven Matz did early on in the year and what Wilson Ramos was doing early on in the year. And that was the first 2-3 weeks of the season. But Met fans, if you really want to look at what those two have done since, it ain't pretty. I know Matz had a really good start against the Yankees the other day, but he got knocked around for a good month there. And Wilson Ramos, I think his batting average has dropped below 200. He hasn't hit a home run in over a month. So I don't want to hear anything about Wilson Ramos, who is the slowest person in the league and the laziest catcher in the league.
That's the Buffalo.
I know he was the Buffalo. He still is the Buffalo, I guess. All right, so upcoming, we got 3 with Atlanta we talked about, and then 3 with Arizona. So we got 6 games here. Still no off days, and then they got 4 with San Diego. Then they finally get an off day. So 3 with Atlanta, 3 with Arizona. Hopefully by that San Diego Padres series, we start to see some guys coming back, getting really healthy. It'd be nice to get them back for that series because San Diego's pretty damn good. 3 with Atlanta, who's struggling, and with Ozuna just placed on the IL, and then 3 with Arizona. You got to keep chipping away here and trying to scratch out some runs. I'm excited to see what happens this week. 4-2 this past week. I'm excited to see what they do moving forward here.
Yeah, man, like you said, the schedule's going to get more difficult, but hopefully by that point we do get some of our guys back and we can gear up a little bit. But I do feel confident in help coming along with Lugo, with Pete, with Taiwan. I mean, those are 3, big guys for us.
So I think I talked about it a little bit before, but Taiwan is supposed to right now start against the Braves in one of those games, which will be nice. You got to ride Jake more than the 5 innings or whatever it was last time. Just start letting him ramp back up. Stroman, keep doing you, man. Lucchesi, if you can, go through the order 2 times and give up 1 run or less, that's a plus. That's great. Bullpen keeps chugging along here, and we're scratching out some runs. Maybe some of the pressure comes off of Frankie, and he starts to hit the ball. He had a nice swing on the ball. He had a frozen rope in the second game here. He's got to get going. That's the last thing I want to talk about is Lindor. He's got to get going. It's Memorial Day. Let's go.
I'm losing faith a little bit in him having a decent season.
Same.
Just like so many bad at bats. Like sure he'll get a hit here and there now, whereas like before he wasn't at all. But dude, how many bad at bats can someone have? Like,
it's just really bad. And
how many times can you strike out?
I don't know if anyone's talked about this yet, but I would be really tempted to tell him to stop batting from the left side and just focus on your natural right-hander. Your right-handed batting average is like 220 or something like that right now. Let's focus on the right side. Let's get into a groove here, and then we'll bring you back over to the left side if we can get some things going here. But we got to gain confidence first, and I think step 1 is make it a little bit simpler. Don't overthink it, and stay on one side of the plate. He's a natural righty. He's better from the right side of the plate. The power isn't there, but the average is. I don't know how you feel about that, but I would be really tempted to and you don't have to make it public. You just go up to him and we'll talk about it, talk it out, see what he wants to do, and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily love that idea because like that's what we paid for. For me, I would only be down with that idea if it was like really coming from him. He was like, "Listen, this is what I need to do. Go for it, man. You know what's going on." But dude, 1 for 6 in the doubleheader today. It's like, come on, man. We like in a time where we really need you, man. We got fucking I know like he's getting pitched to very difficultly at this point with he's got Billy McKinney fucking batting behind him. So I get it. But take your walks then, man. Be more patient. Stop swinging at the pitch low and in on you.
And that goes into scratching out runs, right? Take your walk, get on base, steal a base, be more aggressive that way. You don't have to hit a double. You don't have to hit the home runs. You got to
right
get at this point. I'll give him credit here. Credit where credit's due. He's been awesome at shortstop.
Yeah, and that's like that's good for like that shows his makeup too for here. It's like he's not going to let that affect him in the field, which is good because you see that happen with guys. But I don't know, man. Like it's getting to the point where it's like, is he
It's
gonna
June.
have a bad year this year. Is this, is he gonna hit 230 for us, 220 for us?
So
Because it's bad.
We're going into, full month of April.
June, dude.
We're about a full month of May, right? We're 2 months into the season. He's time to wake up and smell the coffee there, Frankie. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Just he's always in the back of my mind, like, when is it going to happen? And like you said, kind of losing faith a little bit, but I guess we'll see. I'm just like, you're just waiting, like, on eggshells. Like, is it is this the hit that gets him going? No. Is this that? No. Is this? And it's just like,
for me, it's not even that. It's like, no, I need to see a full day of you, like 3 for 4, 4 for 5, yeah, something, man. I need to see the full thing. And like, you can't even blame. I'm not a booing guy at all. I don't even know the last time I booed someone. But like, you can't really blame Mets fans for booing them. Like, at this point, it's like, well, yeah, that's fairly obvious that you were gonna get booed, man.
Yeah.
It's just, we gotta be better. We gotta be better. I mean, the pitch selection has been awful. The contact, not hard contact at all. Ever, dude, ever. And I thought, like, with you too, all right, this is the one hit that propels him. When he had that game winner, I was like, this is when he gets going. Yeah. It's just like back to square one.
I thought it was the home run in Chicago. I really did.
That too. That was another one. Like, all right, now we're at it, and it's like, no, the next day it's like he forgot how to swing again.
Yep. It's been hard to watch, but always something to keep an eye on right now is Francisco Lindor. It's hard to talk about, honestly, because it's the same conversation that we've had since April, but I guess wait and see.
Different conversation here now. Different. They've needed him in the 2 and 3 hole now.
Yeah.
When these guys come back in a week and a half or so, 2 weeks, you move him down a bit because it is that bad.
Yeah, I don't see why not. You're going to see more fastballs down there, no?
And listen, like, we'll revisit it again in a couple weeks from now when we do get some guys back. But it's like, we'll get Pete back, and then, I don't know who might be next in terms of position players. But, we get 2 or 3 more of our regular guys back, he might have to go down to the 5-6 hole. He just might have to. Like, it's become that bad because,
Tomas Nido is going to be batting in front of him.
Tomas Nido is greater than Johnny Bench.
Shut up. You're an idiot.
Just want to put that out there. That's going to be our YouTube for this. Is Tomas Nido better than Johnny Bench? all signs point to yes.
No, oh, yeah. Yeah, good one.
Oh, man.
You're going to get me killed.
Dude, I'm not a jersey guy. I'm not gonna wear someone's jersey that's younger than me. His is tempting.
I'll get you a Tomas Nido jersey.
I'll just spin a pizza pie in my hand while wearing it.
Oh, good. That was nice. Oh, I don't know if you heard this today. This is my last thing. Then I'm done. Joey Lucchesi, first start at Citi Field. Do you know what song he came out to?
No. Let me see. Hold on. The Sopranos theme song.
Yes.
No way, really?
Yeah, man. That's a good one. Yeah.
Dude, I pulled that out of my head. I didn't know that.
You remember when we had like our Mount Rushmore of theme, like intro songs? I think Joey Lucchesi just cracked the top 4.
Oh my god, dude! I didn't know that. I just said that because honestly, that's what I've been watching, other than the Mets.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was the Sopranos theme.
Sopranos is good. Have you seen it?
Yeah. I got up to, God, when the grandma dies, it was like my favorite episode. She was so fucking annoying.
Thanks a lot, dude. I didn't know the grandma died.
I thought you said you were watching it.
I'm on season 2.
I got yet. Well, it's coming.
You just ruined the whole show for me.
Well, there you go.
Woke up this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's another episode of the LFGM podcast. Put it in the books.